Hi. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to Mystic Moons, broadcasting from the winter Coles North Pole. Might as well call this place the North Pole. It is white on the ground, white in the air, and white in the skies. It's friggin' cold. Well, I was just cleansing this area because we're going to take a delve into a place that not many people like to go. At least without a few drinks in them, they don't like to go, or a few puffs of some kind of drug. The point is, though, it's fact. Bigfoot, Dogman. You go, huh? But we all know that science is a religion in modernity, in modern day life. And we don't kid ourselves the fact that experiments have been going on different types of mammals, reptiles, crustaceans, and so forth. However, not only our civilization has done these experiments or has had these creatures among us. Bigfoot, now what should we talk about first? Today we're going to do a reading and find out with all this chaos going on. I mean, humans are insane right now. We all know that humans are crazy right now. Everybody's trying to intimidate the other person. I guess it's a form of expanded awareness, expanded consciousness, which is making so much chaos. It's like putting out, we're all like high speed trains, and they're trying to put like a horse harness, cart and buggy, goat, harness and a wooden buggy, some sort of like really archaic vehicle to our brains and our minds and our hearts, which is essentially the root of all the chaos. Every single country is saying its usual bologna or sausage wraps, and we're just going, no thanks, no thanks. That's not it. That's not it. And we're all getting tired of a small group of people that get to know all the facts, and they're just pasteurizing the details. I mean, they're watering it down so you barely have a taste of flavor. All you get is, like, pick 5 categories of where your mind should hang out. Well, in this adventure tonight, in this psychic investigation, in this psychic tarot reading, we're going to think about, feel Bigfoot. We're going to feel Dogman. Now, a lot of you have only heard of werewolves because that's Hollywood and that's Western culture's way of glossing over an important element. Now, we do know that Dogman, Bigfoot, and humans are bipeds. They walk on 2 feet. Whether they keep good posture is open to discussion. Even humans don't keep good posture. Some of them walk like hunchback, quarterback, and some of them walk straight. Some humans walk straight. It also depends upon how we feel, which is kind of like the information that we get is how we feel, how they feel towards us. Now, Dogman, let's take Dogman first. Because Dogman is very strange. You go, oh yeah, Dogman? What is that? Well, every country has Dogman. Seriously. Seriously, they do. They have different names in the different languages about it. But dogmen are here. There are areas, and it's very strange too. This in the United States, they're recently having a lot of turmoil in dogman territory. Check that out. Minnesota, that area around there, that's dogman territory. It is. It is. For centuries, it has always been dogmen, Indian and Native American legends, all type of legends. People have seen dogmen, they have a human body with a wolf-like or dog-like head, hence the word dogman. And now let's scratch out a little bit further, think out of the box. Go, dogman, that's not, what the heck is that? But going back to the ancient Egyptians, there's a god called a nimbus. A nimbus. A nimbus is a human-shaped body with a dog-like head. Now, people have said to pacify us, saying it was a mask. But however, why are they so secretive about that fact? And why do they take the character, the god, is God, Anubis is a god, an important god. He was the guard of the gateways to other dimensions, the here and the there, more or less. Anubis. And the way Hollywood has gone ahead and brainwashed Western culture in terms of werewolves being Anubis, right? And putting this satanic, stuff all over it. So, we don't touch the subject. Oh, werewolves. And putting it with vampirism, all this type of satanic kind of hocus pocus. Don't go there. However, as I said, it is an Anubis, which is the werewolf that we've been drilled to accept, is taken after the god Anubis. Also, too, now you go back even not so far back in history. Did you know that Marco Polo, everybody's heard the name Marco Polo, at least everybody in the United States have heard about Marco Polo as from school. Well, Marco Polo, apparently, he traveled east to get the spices. Well, did you know that there was an island that he traded with, and it's documented? Go dig it up. I'm not just speaking out of ether. Go dig it up, the information. That the inhabitants of the island were all shaped like Anubis. They were all shaped with human bodies with dog heads. We all know there's a slight difference between a dog and a werewolf, and we've seen every single artist's interpretation of the head changing, the human head changing from an insane wolf, right? Insane nature. So this is how they're trying to always gear you. Think out of the box. How they're always trying to gear you to accept different things. In terms of be afraid, be very afraid. And don't accept it. Don't accept it because it's satanic, it's evil, it's it's witchcraft or some crap. They always have some label. Of course, in these producers of these films, they have their own little sick groups, party orgies and stuff that they put on their little cloaks. And look at the furries. Right? There are people that actually believe that they are dogs and cats. And any furries out there, I'm not ragging on you totally. But the point is, it's not so unusual to have a combination human looking things like arms, chest, legs, bipeds, and have a head that's different, that's not like a human head on the outside. Well, now, anyway, get beyond that. Let's get beyond that for a moment. All right? Let's get beyond that. Now, the thing is, why humans are acting, you have all the chaos. They have the chaos in Minnesota, the same area where the Dogman has legends and decade after decade, 100 years after 100 years of having habitation in that area. And then Trump is sending his military in that area. Now, backtrack a little. Okay, so you see the ICE is going to that area, those military people. Right? You got that. Now, the point is, backtrack a little, just pause that for a second. You remember a couple of weeks ago or days ago when Trump swired Madero and his missus out of their beds. Do you know what something was also in the sky that they don't talk about that much? But everybody else is talking about it. There was this triangle, a huge triangle, black triangle vessel in the sky, that hovered, stayed high in the sky, nighttime sky, and didn't make a sound. No sound. And it didn't have any chemtrails, the contrails, nothing, nothing. And it hovered around the area of Caracas, right? Uh-huh. So we know that we are not being told the full Monty by our leaders, our scientists, our biologists, our archaeologists. So the point is, why should these dogmen be happy that the earth people, the humans, because we're all, they consider themselves earth people too, but they have a different type of vision, a different type of sound frequencies, etc., etc., etc. They're not the same. We don't have the same abilities. And they keep themselves hidden, just like Bigfoot. Now, Bigfoot, let's take a little peek into that for a moment, right? Let's take a little peek. Now, Bigfoot, you've all heard of Bigfoot. It's every single state in the United States, just about, that has any woods, has a Bigfoot sighting. Where I live too, there's Bigfoot sightings. They have societies that many people have approached these different societies, and they have had sightings of Bigfoot. Now, the first time Bigfoot came out, everybody's seen that grainy picture of this, tall, hairy-looking ape man, right? Running in the fields or going into the woods. Now, keep in mind one thing. To get a costume that looks like an ape costs a lot of dough, a lot of money. And even when that grainy thing, which is several decades old, you know how much it would cost? It would cost almost $1,000 a day to rent that costume. And in fact, the Planet of the Apes, when that was made, their wardrobe budget was like $1 million a day. That's why they play it so much over and over and over and over again. Still getting residuals to keep, because of the expense of it all. And that was one of them. And even if you want to look at material to get that faux fur, it always costs lots of money. Lots of money. It costs you a few $100s just for a meter or a yard or a foot of it. It's expensive. It's expensive. So, there's a lot. And how would the person get their hands on? Like even today, let's say 10K today, you have $10,000. $10,000, even in the 70s, would be equivalent to $1,300. $1,300. That's how, and you can just imagine, how hard is it to get $10,000 in your hands? Are you going to blow it on a costume or material? Not unless you had a lot of things going for you, right? So it's not something that you would just say, I'm going to make a prank. It isn't. And however, too, now, Bigfoot, the earth is Bigfoot's habitation. Garden of Eden. Well, it was anyway. And they also do not have our mentality or our senses. They have a different type of hearing, a different type of sight. They know to stay away from us, humans, human animals. And then again, you got to think about, too, when those aliens, those other planetary beings, now I hope my audience agrees that there are other types of life forms. Like there are whales, there are minnows, there are chimpanzees, and there are mosquitoes. We have life forms come in many forms, many shapes, many abilities. And they can also be manipulated by one scientific species to another species. Don't think that the humans, us, because we have 10 fingers, 10 toes, are really wow. We're not wow. We have to come down a bit, even if our leaders of some of our countries think that they're whoa, we're so hot. It's not that way. It's not that way. Our arrogance could be our undoing if we do not think that if we just believe what we're told, like mindless, in the box, shoebox creatures. In fact, you have to realize that every single thing that you have been programmed to think could possibly be wrong thinking. Wrong thinking. Right thinking could be wrong thinking. And I'm not talking about violence. I'm not talking about being a miserable SOB. I'm not talking that way. I'm talking about realizing your place on the planet in terms of cosmic energy, cosmic positions. We have to think that way. Now, that's one reason why Bigfoot and Dogman stay away from humans, because we're too erratic. But it doesn't stop a visitor to this planet from engaging them, because they have a different type of society, and we cannot rely on some kind of entertainment that we've seen on the tube or on the cable as a source of information. That's just programming you so you reject all other things and only think one way. What is better for somebody who's commanding something than to think that everything that I say is taken as scripture? It's one thing I want you to do when you're listening to Mystic Moons. Think about it and go check it out. Dogman. Yes, Minnesota, Michigan. There's sightings, there's legends. Of course, they use it as a tourist route. I mean, who's going to go to these places and go look at the dead lakes or their, plants, their chemical plants? No. It is also used as a tourist, come and see this, come and see that, come and see this, come and see that, all these things. But, there's a lot of things we don't know. Lots of things we don't know. And our ignorance or our fear of maybes is the thing that is driving a lot of falsehoods. We're only going to be strong if we open up. And one way of opening up is to look at other cultures. Look at other cultures. Not just from the time our parents were born, our grandparents were born. Let's go back further. I mean, we've been on this earth recorded, even though they say 6,000 years, you can put at least 12,000, double it or triple it. 20,000 years. And even for you take a civilization that made the pyramids, and they worshipped the god Anubis, and he had a dog head, right? Now, but to this day, they have not figured out how to make structures of that period, right? Our places have our structures, our buildings, our houses. We're lucky to have maybe 100 years, 120 years, some of them, not the modern ones. We're lucky to have 60 years. Repair. But these structures have been standing for millenniums. There's something more than these people just worshiping guys running around dog masks. Right? Something going on that we are not being told about, because that's part of the big secret. Know nothing and just do a trade. Stay stupid, don't read, don't think, don't. It's almost if you hear that word don't, they should make a donut or a barbecue out of the word don't. Don't. However, now, getting back to the chaos that we humans are right now, we have so-called leader of the free world, if there's such a thing as free. It's called resold, and bargain, sale, and get what you can. Pirating, well, all sorts of things. But however, all this chaos right now, we're having wars everywhere. It's like a dozen wars plus, maybe 24 wars everywhere. Neighbors are hating neighbors. I mean, there's a lot of agitation. And also, too, keep in mind that the earth is feeling all this negative disruption and reacting. The earth is moving too. The plates, the earth parts are thinning in certain places. Holes are appearing. The west coast of the United States is riddled with earthquakes. Every day there's earthquakes from anywhere from 3 point something to six point something. So there's a lot of movement, and we're just going, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. But it's like there's no, now, I'm not saying living in fear, but what about preparation? What about accepting certain elements instead of like realizing they don't want you to do anything without the click because they would miss a day of your sweat. Now, the sweat of humans is different from the sweat of Bigfoot. It's different from the sweat of Dogman, right? It is. And do you think that Dogman, or you think these beings? We'll go to Bigfoot. Now, Bigfoot's supposed to have an extremely sensitive hearing. How do I know this? A lot of reports have said, and the way that they kept themselves so hidden, they could probably hear you from, who's to say, a mile away, half a mile away. They can hear you. They can smell our stench, and they don't like to get together. They don't like to meet and greet because they can't trust. I mean, humans can't trust other humans. You could say one thing, especially Americans. People say, can you trust Americans anymore? Can you trust the Chinese? Can you trust the Russians? Can you trust? Like, why do we keep on having this faux tribal nesting, as though if one of us eats, we all eat. No, people, if one of us eats, only one of us are eating, right? Just like the knowledge. But it's like, how can we be so sure? Let's do a few readings about what is Bigfoot's reaction to this chaos that the humans are like generating? Getting clomped in the street, getting panicky, hitting people over the head, barking orders and sirens. I mean, all this noise, the noise element and the flashing and the smoke and the cry, the anguish. I mean, just the ebb and flow, the lower energy. Who is eating this up, or how is Bigfoot? Now, do you think Bigfoot's going to forever stay in the shadows? Maybe Bigfoot is already in contact with aliens, an alien race. Could be. Who's to say? They don't want to contact us because we can't be trusted. Maybe we look at their appearance and we go, ooh, where's your clothes? Ooh, you you're an ape. And they look at us, hairless, stinky, and not trustworthy. Not trustworthy. We scream at our own shadow. We're jumpy people. Humans are jumpy. And somebody, they'll reach for some sort of a tool and they'll put a hole in you with it. And of course, so Bigfoot is more powerful than us. And also probably could be more intelligent because they keep themselves aloof. And we don't know that there's many other types of beings on this earth, but right now we're just seeing Bigfoot. Okay, so let's pull a few. We pulled a few. Let's see, Bigfoot. Now, Bigfoot, we have the Six of Cups. Bigfoot is there. They're everywhere. They have different types, us. This chaos is going, it's moving around. It's a lot of jitters. What to do? Actually, no, this isn't the Six of Cups. It's the Seven of Cups. Right, the Seven of Cups. Excuse me. You can see on this Bigfoot going, trying to figure out how to escape the human carnage, the human chaos, where to go, what to do, and what to do about all this idiocy that's going on. What to do about this cohabitation? If they had any plans about not cohabitating or eventually cohabitating, hi, how are you type of greetings, they're putting it aside for now because humans are just wanting to hit on anything. The humans are untrustworthy. Okay, we have judgment. That's their decision. They're making a decision about how to stay out of, how to deal with all this crazies, especially when this police, all this, what's it called? Immigration enforcement police and the regular police and the military are all going around crazy around their stomping grounds of Dogman, and Bigfoot. There's one thing they don't like, humans don't like. We have to look and talk and smell and do everything like everybody else. Otherwise, you're the enemy. You're the enemy because you're different. So if one of us had a very hairy head, now everybody had somebody, I'm sure. I mean, I remember when I went to high school, there was this girl. Now, she was quiet. She kept to herself. She was in a special part of, special ed. The point was about her, she had a hairy face. She had hair all over her. I mean, it wasn't to the extent of Bigfoot or like Dogman, but she had quite a lot of hairs on her chin, on around or all over her face. And she had a beard, she had a mustache, and she had hair on her chin. And she had a hairy, unibrow. So she really got like, there's no way she even plucked that stuff out. And somehow she was not, nobody took her to shave it off. Well, you couldn't, she was a kid. She was like, I mean, when I knew her, she was, or 13, 14, 15, like that. But I mean, it's not uncommon for humans to also have, some of us, to have a lot of facial hairs all over our heads. So, and we remember, a lot of us have had that experience, and we've seen what happens to, those people that have that hairy stuff. So in other words, if we can do that to one of our own, imagine we can do that to someone who was Bigfoot or someone who was Dogman. And look what we have here. We have a plan. We have a plan. We have a lot of decision going on, and we have a plan. We have a plan. They're making a plan how to like escape the humans. Also, to like, they're tired of being kept in some sort of Barnum and Bailey weirdo freak show. Bigfoot and Dogman are not freaks. They're a species. And humans, we like to think that we are the top of the pyramid. And even among ourselves, we accept the fact that there are people with richer, smarter, this and that, better than us. More positioned, higher. We have the blue bloods. Now, the blue bloods could also be connected to having different type of alien bloodlines, right? So there's so many things. We have these nicknames. Werewolves. Werewolves are take off to diminish the Egyptian god Anubis and his power and his status as a god. Just like with the Irish people, their gods became fairies, little leprechauns. They became tiny. So there's always way the victor or their perceived victor or their perceived mind controller. See, the thing is right now what's happening, a lot of people have a lot of information at their disposal, but they don't know how to integrate it into active thought. They're still clinging on, which I think is why they keep on playing those old movies from the 70s, the 60s, the 80s, over and over and over and over again, to try and control us and get us back in the pig pen, get us back in the animal farm, get us back. Okay, so back to these Bigfoots groups. They're around. And they're counting on the fact of us to be distracted, but they also know that there's a certain branch of the military, which, the need to know basis. I keep secrets from every single thing that's real, from the masses, from us, the civilian portions, and also the other military branches that are not hired or are not deemed high enough on the food chain to know these things. Now, they know that different groups of beings exist on this earth. They do. Which is why they instruct Hollywood to make all these scare and beware type movies, of which, you know, see, we'd be getting it. Even when you think about it recently, in the last X amount of years, all we get is earthquake movies. All we get is more. When there's an earthquake on the West Coast, we're innovated. We're like swamped, drowned with earthquake, disaster, apocalypse, diaspora type of films. The same thing. We're getting constant chaos, and it's ending. Instead of dealing with the possibilities are narrowing and something's happening. The earth is moving. The earth is not paper mache that is frozen. It is not. We are not melting like ice cream either. It is not. We have movements. We're pulsating with vibrations, cosmic energy. And how can we what? See, animals don't have like animals, other animals, right? When they feel an earthquake coming, they feel it coming, they act accordingly, and they don't stand around and turn on the, open up the popcorn and watch another flick like we are. Or they don't go to work and pretend that like everything is okay. It's my nerves. We don't take like pharmaceuticals to de-stress. They deal with it in a different manner. Maybe get stronger. And then we have the Nine of Pentacles. So they have a plan. I would say Bigfoot, of course. They have plans. They have already deemed us to be keep a distance. Continue to keep a distance. Awareness right now coming out of the folds is not to their benefit. They would just be used as punching balls, punching bags for whatever, anguish, for emotions. Well, they're going to keep to they got something planned. I would say Bigfoot has something planned. The Queen of Pentacles. They have something planned and they're keeping themselves either more under wraps. But they're not about to sit quietly and be roasted alive while the humans are just being, the humans, are being crazy. They have something going on. They've calculated the situation and they're preparing themselves accordingly. And they're taking a more of a pacifist way of not interacting with us. However, they have planned something almost when... See, right now we're supposed to be in disclosure, correct? We're supposed to be in disclosure. Now, disclosure isn't the fact of being visited or being said they're fallen angels or demonic creatures or anything like that. We're not talking about that type of stuff. We're talking about disclosure that humans aren't the only ones here and there and in the cosmos. So, and there's no reason why elsewhere beings would want to react with emotional, erratic human animals, for lack of a human beings, when they can be with Bigfoot beings or Dogman beings, which have been bastardized and hellified through media, ritualistic, symbolic, satanic seeking media personnel, and not without their own steam, because the whole structure is to say the human is it. However, the rest of it is all devil worship. We have a lot to learn and a lot to unlearn. We do. And Bigfoot is one of them. Now, the Dogman is also something that is kind of sketchy, isn't it? Dogman. The fact that, I recently did some research and found out that Marco Polo, as I mentioned earlier, that Marco Polo has had. So Marco Polo was in the 14th something. How long ago was that? 13 something. That's almost, it's like 10 centuries, right? More than 10 centuries. It's 10. It's a lot of time. 15 centuries of these creatures being around, and they don't tell us all the facts. They don't tell us everything. That's the point. That is always try and tell us to get us angry and hating each other because eyes are different, skin color is different, hair is different, and even you don't look like us, you look like a weirdo, or you look different. Where the hell did you come from? Now, we have to get over this. Because other beings have gotten over. They're more advanced. If you want to move ahead, you can't get into stupid. You can't get into stupid. And the fact that still the chemtrails are changing our earth, they're changing our air, our soil, our food is synthetic, all these things. And yet we're supposed to fear anything that doesn't dress like us, look like us, most importantly, look exactly like us. You look like you come from South America. You look like you come from Africa. You look like you come from Europe. You look like you come from a cold place, a warm place. In the meantime, we have all these elements of other beings on this planet, Dogman. How can we even stop and think that there aren't something escaped from the lab, maybe? Huh? These we don't know any of this. And maybe for thousands of years, there's experiments going on. Thousands of years. Just like the same thing of thinking the pyramids are just elaborate cemeteries. No. And still, they still teach the same. They still instruct the same. Funeral parlors. No. There's too much quiet, and things are screaming. So let's do this one about dogmen. Little dogmen. Dogmen are like, well, you might as well say, you can call them whatever you want, wolf creatures, because, wolves and dogs have similar canine commonalities. They have two eyes. They have faces that look alike. What is the difference? It's the same difference between a Mongolian and a pygmy. From the pygmy tribe. It's not very much different. Or an Englishman from somebody from, born and bred, a Nordic person from somebody who was born and bred in Beijing, right? We like to think that, ooh, that's different. Single lid, double lid, big nose, flat nose, sharp nose, no nose. All these things that we're going to, but where is your intelligence? Where is your empathy? Where is your acceptance? We have a strong tribal monkey see. Now, dogmen is different. They're aware of the hostility, and they're not that inclined to be all that savvy or understanding about the fact that we've made werewolves out of them. And also, it's very peculiar that we're militarizing that area, which is they're known for centuries for coming out of and hanging out. And I don't think when they have those infrared cameras that look under the earth, look in the earth, that they can't tell what is, habitation. Are they trying to make a statement with dogmen? Is the U.S. government trying to make a statement with other non-humans, where we just get like, hate those people, and they get something else. The sounds that we hear in the sky, the sounds we hear underground. And believe me, those underground bases have been around since the 50s when everybody used to talk about them. And those underground bases are supposed to be 10, 20 miles deep. Now, if they were drilling underground, you wouldn't be hearing it, you wouldn't hear it above your, in your garage. You wouldn't hear it. You would not hear it. They want you to hear these noises. They want you to hear certain things. They want you. They want you to tremble. Go, ooh. They want that. Somebody is having a good meal off of our lower vibrations. Now, that is another type. I'm not saying Dogman or Bigfoot enjoy that type of charge. No, I'm not saying that. Now, Dogman. Let's get a little intel, psychic in feeling about Dogman. The first thing we get is the cups. We get 5 cups. Wow. Dogman is not very pleased with its claim to fame. Werewolf. Dogman. Dogman's not happy. Dogman is like, wait a second. Dogman is pissed. Dogman is very pissed off because of the aggressive nature of the humans have taken to playing with that species. All right. The next thing we got is the 6 of cups. Again, the 6 of cups. Well, I would say that could even be like a plan. It could be a plan, and it could also be. It could also be what? Dogman. Dogman has to be more aggressive. Dogman has to be more. Dogman is more aggressive because there's been much more said about Dogman through the alias of werewolf and the satanic nature of like tearing a human with their canine teeth. There's a lot of things going on. Thank you for the likes, by the way. But this is just something we're exploring. We are exploring the fact that humans we're not the only ones. We're not the only ones. No, we're not. Even though academics, etc., of that type, and politicians like to, which they lean on academics, like to say, delusions. Only think what we tell you to think. And we have pleasure. And the other one, 6 of cups. And we have disappointment and pleasure. I would say that's almost like disappointment, the 5 of cups, and the 6 of cups is like they're kind of looking for revenge. They're angry. I get an angry vibe from Dogman. Not because, Dogman is like, it's gotten such a bad deal. At least Bigfoot, you get like the scare element and they're like so elusive. But Dogman, Dogman is angry. I get it. Dogman is quick-tempered. And they're tired of being the excuse of the demonic beast, the human beast, when they're separate altogether. And the next thing we get about Dogman, we get the 6 of cups, the 6 of pentacles, the 6 of pentacles. They feel that they are damn more superior than the earth human animals. The 6 of cups, they have a plan. They do have a plan. And even in this era, this thing of disclosure, in this time of disclosure, They have both of these entities, both of these beings have plans. Plans. And I would say dogmen, not because of their canine mouths and their shape. They got something planned. I think they've taken abuse too long. They've taken the abuse too long. And they're not happy. They're not happy. They're not, and they've got a plan. And this is what we're going to do. Well, dogmen are pack people, pack beings. They're collective. They're more of a community. Therefore, they have more success rate for their enaction of their plan. Also, too, they go, one should not, considering the fact that centuries and centuries ago, they were gods, the god, which means they have power. They have different types of power. I mean, I don't think that the Egyptians were like little, muddleheads, the ancient ones, because of the structures, what they left behind. What are we leaving behind? Hello, how are you? What are we leaving behind? Sludge? Garbage? An island of plastic running around in the ocean the size of the state of Texas? What are we leaving? Garbage. Space garbage, satellites all over. What are we leaving behind? Erratic behavior. Now we're not really, unless we pull it together, they're not impressed. Dogmen are not impressed with Homo sapiens. They're thinking that we're a collectivist bunch of big mouth weaklings. And we have the Three of Cups, abundance. Well, they have a plan. And they're saying if the space aliens that are coming to visit and monitoring us, which, Trump is supposed to say the, disclosure. And we are going to the moon, by the way. I don't know if you've heard about it, because so much of this, I'm going to bomb Iran, I'm going to bomb Mexico, I'm going to bomb. We are supposed to be going to the moon. NASA is supposed to be going to the moon in a few weeks. They have a window from, I think, the 5th of February to the 14th, or something like that, 10 days. But they have it scheduled for the 6th with fluctuations depending on the weather. So, and they have a lot of plans for the moon, by the way. Lots of plans for the moon. Of which they're keeping us with, carry your papers. Are you a citizen? Are you an immigrant? Go back home. Go back. No, stay here. Don't come to the city. There's no jobs. There's no this. Tariffs. In the meantime, they're going ahead with alien contact is going on. Because why was that black triangle that defied our laws of physics less than 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, Happy New Year, just hovering in the skies over Caracas? Why? And why is it quiet? And why is all the political rage about beating fellow people over their heads, beating up people, grabbing people like the Planet of the Apes movie? Minus the costumes. Because, khakis are much cheaper than faux fur. The material-wise. So, I would say Dogman has something going on and prepared to connect with others. We are just going to go, oh my God, say things, I can't believe it, while the creatures the being is walking to us, around us, and we're being called by our so-called betters that it's delusional. It's a delusion. can we ever, in the United States anyway, Western world, get beyond the illusion of control of people? Let them say what they saw and how they feel, and not talking about stupid things, not talking about hating other human beings. Now, the thing about Dogman and Bigfoot, it sense right away, is the fact that they don't hate their kind. They don't hate their own the way humans hate their own. They don't hate their own. And you think about it, leadership today, they sit in air-conditioned, heated places, rooms, cars, bunkers, while their subjects are out there battling it out on the street. They stay hidden, monitoring. The two groups of Dogman and Bigfoot don't do that. They're out there and they watch. They keep their distance. They plan. They're ready. They're ready for not to be forever in the shadows. They're tired of having the chaos. And when chaos brings, it's like a rain. When rain comes, there's preparation going on. Look at ants, for instance. When rain is coming, they build up. You can find any ants that are still alive with all the chemicals, heavy metals in the soil, but let's just say ants. I've seen, they build up their outside of their homes. They make little teepees, little pyramids. They gather preparations. And what do other animals do when they can sense an earthquake is happening? They move away, they fly, they crawl, they run away. And what do? We put another hot dog in the microwave and eat it. And just it's just a little one. Rumble, 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 rumble. So what? So what? And then we talk about things that don't really matter. Things that are not going to help us survive. Right? We have a lot of no-nonsense cartoon talking. We have a lot of cartoon talking. Maybe because our lives are nothing but, or treated like cartoons, treated as a joke. That's to be discovered. To be discovered. Well, think about it when you go outside and you feel a pair of eyes staring at you. Have you ever lived in a place in the woods, by a park, the national parks? Have you seen things or felt things? A lot of people are having more and more sightings because they're taking stock of where to be and the humans that are in places that they must be and the places that the humans are trying to get them out of. Who has caves? Bigfoot? You certainly don't have caves. Do I have a cave to go to? No. Dogman? Lots of mysterious things. Lots of things that are unanswered. That's the fascinating thing about 2026. We're going to be finding out lots and lots more realities. I'm going to leave this open. If you want to leave a comment about you believe, you feel, you know, Bigfoot, Dogman. And keep in mind, Dogman is the romanticized horror of has been morphed in our brain consciousness as werewolf. Now, don't think about what we've all, including myself too, brainwashed to think, but just do some research. Leave some comments. Thank you for the likes. If you care to give me a tip or anything, I love it. Would love it. But it's no pressure. See, I want you to open your minds. Get out of that standard thinking. grow.